Here, Democratic of Onondaga County, and welcome to Commissioner in a Car. This is my kind of current events show that I do every week. And this week we're talking about the June 25th primary. That is the local primaries for different races that we're having in Onondaga County, and of course throughout New York State and in other places as well. But if it's affecting Onondaga County, I'm going to talk about it in today's podcast. A little caveats, it's a little premature. The state board is meeting, I think tomorrow, to certify their ballots. And but we kind of know what they're going to do. And still, some races may go to court to be reinstated or to take people off. That is still a possibility, and it is still, kind of working its way out. But this is what we know as of today. So in Onondaga County, we are going to have a June 25th primary. Democrats will have choices throughout Onondaga County. The Republicans will have choices in Senate District 48, which is the western, southern tier, and the city of Syracuse. And then some conservatives will have choices in a few different towns for county committee, and I'll go over what that means in a little bit. But first, let's start with the Democrats. Democrats will have primaries all throughout Onondaga County for representative in Congress for this 22nd congressional district. Of course, that goes out to Cayuga County, down to Cortland County, over to Madison, and up in Oneida. And by the way, my weekly walk this weekend will be about the 22nd congressional district, so check it out. There are only two candidates that will be proceeding to the primary, and that is John Mannion and Sarah Clee Hood. These candidates put in petitions and were accepted at the board. As you may remember, Dr. Clemmie Harris, also put in petitions, but those petitions were ruled out at the state board. So that primary is set now, and also Dr. Harris said that he's not challenging it, so he's ended his race, so that primary is set between John Mannion and Sarah Clee Hood for the right to go on against Brandon Williams for the 22nd congressional district. There will also be a primary in the 50th Senate District, which is the Senate District that goes along the northern. It's like Camillus, Clay, Cicero, DeWitt, Manlius, and all the way up into Oswego for Democratic representative. This is John Mannion's old seat, and he's now left that to run for Congress. And Chris Ryan and Tom Drum are the two candidates there that are running for that seat. So that is the Democratic primaries. Again, if you're a Democrat anywhere in Onondaga County, you're going to be able to cast a ballot on June 25th. Some of you only for Congress, some of you for Congress and for state Senate. And that's it for the Democrats. For the Republicans, there is a Republican primary for Senate District 48. That is the primary that goes down on the western side of the county from Lysander all the way down to Marcellus, Skaneateles area, through Elbridge, and not Geddes. Geddes is in SD50, and then down and into the city of Syracuse, and then down along the southern tier with Fabius, Pompey, Lafayette, Tully, that area, Otisco, and then it goes into Cayuga. This is the seat held by Rachel May. But the Democrats are not having a primary. The Republicans are having a primary between Fannie Villarreal and Caleb Slater. They are the two Republicans. Caleb has got the endorsement of the Conservative Party. Fannie's got the endorsement of the Onondaga County Republican Party. And the Cayuga County Republican Party endorsed Caleb Slater. So now they're having a primary for the right to face Rachel May in the general election. So it's Fannie versus Caleb, and that's the Republican primary. There's also a Republican primary for town councilor for the town of Lysander. Joe Lorenzo and Eugene Dinsmore are running. This is a seat that was vacated by Kevin Rhodes, who became supervisor of Lysander, a Democratic supervisor of Lysander. And so this is a Republican seat. There is a Democrat running for that seat, and he is not facing a primary. He was he was chosen. There was nobody running against him, and we'll be talking to him. He ran for judge last year, and sorry, name is escaping me right now. But he's going to be on a Zoom with Zarni at some point in the future. He's running on the Democratic side, and the Republicans are having a primary on the Republican side. The Republicans are also having a couple of different primaries for county committee. Why would they have primaries for county committee? Well, the county committee, we've talked about this before. There are organized party committees for all of the parties. Well, actually, for 3 of the 4 major parties in Onondaga County: Conservative, Democrats, and Republicans. The Working Families Party doesn't have a local committee. All of their stuff is done at the state party level. So, but county committee is actually an elected position. People don't know that and don't think of it. But if you want to represent an election district in Onondaga County, you can have 2 different people representing an election district. But if more than 2 people file petitions, it actually becomes a primary. And these are starting to become a little bit more frequent in Onondaga County. In other counties like Monroe County, there's hundreds of these county committee primaries all the time. But not so much in our county, although in the Republican Party, we've seen a little bit more of that. There's right now, for Pompey District 5, there's a 3-way race for Onondaga County Republican Committee between Trina Douglas, Craig Dennis, and Lawrence Wengerman. And then there's a 3-way race for Town of Lysander between Joseph Bree, Holly Bree, and Anthony Gorjewski. These are races that are the Republicans inside those election districts are the ones who get to vote on those only. Now, these races are also part of Senate District 48, so it's not opening up a new area. They're not just going to the polls for those election districts. They're going to polls for Senate District 48 as well, if you're a Republican. And then there are 5 different primaries for the Conservative Party for different Conservative Party county committees. The Conservative Party also represents 2 people per election district in Onondaga County. They're having a little bit of a tiff, you may say. I'm not going to go over all the candidates because there's a lot of different candidates, but I will say where those county committee primaries are. Town of Lafayette, District 4, Town of Onondaga, District 2, Town of Salina, District 2, Town of Salina, District 5, and Town of Salina, District 13. Now, there is a court case going on right now for Pompey District 5, I believe, or, I'm sorry, Pompey District 3. There's a court case going on for Pompey District 3 for the Republicans that might open up into a primary. There's also court cases going on for United States Center on the Democratic and Republican side, but both of those have been ruled out by the county committee. Barring any intervention from the court, none of these races will actually have primaries, but I wanted to put that out there that there is still some possibility of more primaries being added. There's no race, I don't believe there's any court cases out there to take people off the ballot that would affect Onondaga County, but there could be that I don't know about and that was filed late, but I don't know of any that were filed. That actually had to be filed on April 18th. So, but because the state board rules officially tomorrow on May 1st, then the committee petitions, or I'm sorry, the state board starts the 3-day window for the state races to go to court. If they were ruled invalid, they can go to court to get themselves put back on. They got a 3-day window to file. So we'll know a little bit more about the court cases next week, and that's probably what I'll be talking about in next week's Commissioner in a Car is the court cases. And also absentee balloting, because that'll be starting very shortly next week. We actually have a pretty quick turnaround. We got to get these absentee ballots out by May 10th. So the next week, 10 days, we're going to be working to get the absentee ballots out for Onondaga County for all of our primary races. So if you need an absentee ballot, now's the time. Go to onvote.net. You can apply for an absentee ballot. That's really all I got for my Commissioner in a Car today. I think it's going to make it kind of quick. But those are the races that we're going to see in June. And that you, as a voter, if you're in the Democratic Party in Onondaga County, Republicans in SD 48, or conservatives in a couple smattering of election districts throughout Onondaga County, you will have choices this June 25th. And of course, then we'll get into the general election after that. So, this week, Zoom and Zarni, I have Emily Essie, Onondaga County Clerk, on. That'll be on Friday. My weekly wonk this last week, I did New York State. This next weekend, as I previewed earlier, New York Congressional District 22. I'm looking forward to putting that together for you as well. I think that's going to have some enlightenment about what we might be able to see as a preview for June and for the November election. As always, go to dustinzarni.com. You can find all of my content there, any election news there as well. And thank you very much, and enjoy the rest of the week. Bye-bye.